Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Sempre Milan bonus podcast episode on Substack. This week, we are going to be taking a look back at Theo Hernandez's over half decade with Milan, the highs, the lows, and the eventual bitter exit. Happy Thursday, brother.
Thursday indeed. My Modric away jersey arrives today. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, copped it immediately. I would have had it earlier because we knew the number. But the Milan shop, when you go to customize, doesn't let you put the accent mark. It just doesn't recognize it, so it just didn't put a C at all. So I had to wait for it to actually be on the store. So, oh well.
Modri, like Rodri.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got number 14. Kind of like it. Like Reinders' legacy, it doesn't scare me type thing.
Yeah, I hope not. Dude's got 6 Champions Leagues and a Ballon d'Or. Yeah.
It's Theo Thursday. That's what we're going to be talking about today. We did a little bit of a, what would you call it? We did a bit of an assessment of his parting shot that he fired towards the management over on the main pod. So we're not going to do a deep dive too much on that, although we will mention it at the end. But we just thought, because it's rare in football now, I guess, for players to stay so long. You know, he's done 6 years with us. He arrived in the same summer as Ismael Benacer, Rafael Leao, and they're both currently still at the club as it stands. So thought it'd be nice to just kind of recap everything, because in many ways, Theo's journey, Theo's patches of form and everything that came with him as a player basically ran parallel to how Milan were doing as a club. You know, we had the rise, we had the trophies, and then we had the drop off of the last 2 years. But we start with the positives. Can you remember when he arrived in that 2019 summer transfer window from Real Madrid? What your feeling was at that moment? Like, we knew we ideally needed a left back who had a bit more going forward than Ricardo Rodriguez, but I think we were all like, who?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna pretend like we all knew a whole lot about him, right? Like, but I remember being okay with the deal. It was Maldini's first real year in charge. This wasn't the Leonardo year, right? This was after Leonardo left.
Yeah. So it was him.
So
and
it was Maldini's like first real one. We saw the pictures of them together in Ibiza, and we all knew that just like we needed a new left back. And my thought process was very simple. This is a guy who's good enough for Real Madrid, but not good enough to start over Marcelo. That's a better player than Ricardo Rodriguez. So I said, okay, fine. And there were a lot of people that were vocally against it. One guy in particular who's always very loud and against players on Twitter, and everyone that we do end up signing, he's been very wrong about. So when he was anti-Theo, I thought, okay, this is good. And it was for the most part. You know, obviously there were quite a few lows in there, but yeah, the signing was great from day one.
Yeah, it was. I think as you say there, the idea that it was Maldini's mission, you know, the idea that the narrative kind of created itself, because this was not only a signing that the management had kind of blessed and had obviously approved the mission to go out to Ibiza and try and convince him to sign, but it was like the fact that he was going for a left back, going for somebody that he clearly saw great potential in, to become a starter for years to come. Of course, Theo was still very young at this point as well, and there'd been rumours in Spain of him having sort of attitude problems that had prevented him from kicking on to being a first-team regular. Of course, he'd had a past at Atletico Madrid as well, so there was a bit of controversy with the swapping sides of the city. But yeah, it was like the photos come out, Maldini's gone on this blitz, and it's been successful, you know, because persuading players to join from Real Madrid is not a done, it's not an easy thing. It's not a layup,
Yeah.
So to get him in, I do think that there was a little bit of a buzz about that. As I said, we'd kind of invested in the left back position in the windows prior to that. We'd gone for Ricardo Rodriguez, who we got from Wolfsburg, and we thought that would be the fix for years to come as part of that mental 2017 summer window. Then we had like Diego Laxalt as his backup. Now, he was never great by any means, but thought, well, at least that's the starter and the deputy sorted. And then Teo arrives, and it didn't exactly start brilliantly because of Marco Giampaolo, who preferred Rodriguez, as it turned out. He went
I don't even remember
quite
that.
a few. Yeah, he went quite a few games without starting Teo. And Rick Rod got the nod on the left side there. Of
But
course,
could it have
we
been
know.
that many games?
No, it wasn't. It was. I think he basically became a starter at the end of September, so that's when Giampaolo's reign was winding down. In fact, I think his first goal, Taylor's first goal for us, came in that comeback win over Genoa, where we won 2-1, and he was sacked after that. He got sacked after a win, but it was look awful. So like they binned him after a win, but then he never really looked back. Obviously, new coach comes in, Stefano Pioli, took a shine to him, and I think after Maldini, here's the other important person in Teo's story, because Leao will come into this at some point, but he had those struggles magnified in the sense that he couldn't get starts either and was just getting appearances off the bench. He scored a lovely solo goal against Fiorentina, but we had no idea what that flank was going to become because what we were looking at was two backups at that moment. And then, Teo kind of flies off from there. Was there a moment where you thought, we've really got something special here? Or was it just a cumulative thing of that post-lockdown era?
Yeah, I think it was just that post-lockdown run where all of a sudden every player on the team was like a star. It was just, I mean, honestly, it was the arrival of Zlatan, and I don't want to change the topic away from Teo, but Zlatan's arrival really changed every player on that team for the better. There were obviously ups before he arrived in that first half of 2019, or I guess the second half of the year 2019, right? Was it 19 or was it 18? No, it was 19.
19.
It was 19, yeah. Because Teo won the Champions League in 17-18 with Madrid. So obviously he didn't play, but Teo was actually decorated quite a bit. He had a Super Cup, a UEFA Super Cup, a FIFA Club World Cup, the original one, not the new one, and the Spanish Super Cup plus the Champions League, all in 2018, the year before coming to us. So now he wasn't starting those games, but he obviously was on the team and he won those trophies and played parts of it, which is another thing that probably weighed into why I thought, yeah, he's probably a good player. He wasn't critical to those